Hey everyone, Snark with Snark's Domain. Today we're testing out the 2610 from Halnziye. It's the 10 watt rated stuff. We don't trust the ratings necessarily, and so that's why we test stuff. Yeah, the 268 that we have on this card, it did not perform as well as I was hoping it would, so we'll process the data at the end of the stream. TL Spitz, well, howdily doodly, neighborino. Long time no see, it has been. How have I been lately? I've been good. Work and life have been busy, and sometimes you know, big stuff happens, and so yeah, sometimes you just gotta take little moments in life and sort of step back and like think about stuff, and yeah, but everything's good with me. So okay, this is yeah, this is what 268 looks like when we pop it open. let's zoom in here. Do I have the controls? I was battling with Razer Synapse again today, trying to figure some stuff out. I think I got it figured out. I think why the card looks so pixelated is because I put the conformal coating on. I don't know, for some reason I have it in my mind that I had better video quality with this 4K camera. I'm gonna have to look back at like previous footage and this stuff and compare them. I'll do that later, some other time when I have time. But yeah, for now we are gonna scoop off. That's what I forgot to get some paper towel ready. I was getting my work truck ready today for so I got a new truck for work. My other one was pretty mild out, so it was time to for them to get it replaced. And yeah, you just gotta like set up toolboxes and racks and stuff, so it takes a bit of elbow grease to get that all done. So I'm just cleaning up a scraper. I'm gonna put this stuff back in. We had it pretty clean enough that if I need to reuse this for something, I can. You know, I wonder if this stuff is gonna fall in the middle of 204 and 206, or if it's also like it's. I'll give you like the heads up right now. This is not as performant as HY26 236, that product line. Surprisingly, I was excuse me, sorry. I was expecting it to perform better than it did. Then again, if you guys go and look at Igor's Labs results of the 268, I believe he also tested it. I think he tested the gray version. I gotta make sure. I gotta go and look and see if he tested the gray or if he did the like a different colored one. Pretty sure it was the gray. And he had similar, not super impressive results from it. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. It's just strange. You kind of expect it to... Oh, right, I gotta scoop this stuff off the heatsink. Let's zoom out here a little bit. I don't know if I have the same zoom points as before. I really like this camera. I just don't know if the software is as good as I like. Yeah, maybe someday I'll be able to upgrade the camera. I mean, this is a pretty good camera though. Maybe they'll just fix the software and it'll be better. I tried upgrading to Synapse 4, and then when I do that, I lose Synapse control of the camera while I'm streaming. Like OBS wants to use the camera, which is great. I don't need to actually see the preview in Synapse. I just want the preset like customizable zoom points where I can set 5 levels of zooming in and make it really fast to switch between them, as opposed to having a slider that I have to like have open from OBS and then manually slide. Maybe there's a way to create shortcuts for customized zoom points. I just haven't delved into it enough, and the Synapse did that fairly well. So yeah, had to excuse me, downgrade back to Synapse 3 from Razer. And I think I even messaged them and let them know, because it asks you why you're uninstalling Synapse 4. It's like, why are you leaving us? And you click on other, it's like, oh, you know, please describe. So, well, I did it once. I didn't do it the second time. For some reason, I tried the same thing twice, so. we just dropped some putty. We're gonna go fishing for that using this guy, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get that out right now. I'm going to have to try and, let's see. We'll try the lowest setting. Oh yeah, that worked. The wolf box does it again. It's a pretty good little dryer or blower. So this is, it's going to be a messier putty to clean up. It's not going to take forever. I just dipped this Q-tip in a little bit of isopropyl. I'll start by scrubbing the tops of the VRAM. I mean, it might still take a bit. It's like a overly sticky paste, basically. Maybe it's supposed to be a paste. I don't know. They are marketing it as a putty, though. It's part of the 200 series. But they do make more liquidy versions, which they're claiming are for like ASIC chips and fairly thin gaps. But what I'm wondering is, like, why bother if HY206 has the same small particle size and can squish just as thin? Like, why bother? Like, and that's like the thick version of it. Why bother making a thin version? Unless it's like a surface area thing where they just need the viscosity to be that much lower. That's probably it. Because ASIC chips for like a Bitcoin miner are going to be so close together, there's going to be so many of them on a board that they would have a hard time compressing the thicker stuff. Okay, so there's a reason to make a thin one. I just wouldn't recommend grabbing that for a desktop GPU or a laptop. But if you were doing like a hash board on a miner, then maybe that's what you go with, is the thin stuff, just based on the larger surface area. We're gonna get out the old trusty brush. Actually, I'm gonna get that one. There's a shorter brush where I chopped down. It's like really short, but I chopped down the bristles so they're a little bit stiffer. Kind of sucks I have to scrub this already. I had just like deep cleaned it and conformal coated it. And the conformal coating we used was MG Chemicals 422C, which is like, it's pretty resilient. It's not what I would call like a permanent conformal coating, because you can clean it off gradually, just from like scrubbing with isopropyl alcohol. If you don't scrub it, and with isopropyl, it's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, definitely is. It's a good thing that it could be cleaned off if you ever had to like solder on the board. It'd be nice to be able to remove it. So yeah, I do a combination of like scrubbing with a toothbrush or a little brush, and then back to the Q-tips, just to get into the tighter grooves. We don't have to make it perfect. If it's not perfect, I can just toss the putty rather than saving it, which is maybe what we'll do in this circumstance. I guess I have another messy putty coming up, which would be the Maxtor 306 stuff. I think that's a little bit stickier as well. But I don't really want to do a full deep clean. When I go when I go all the way to clean this stuff, it's like takes longer. You don't actually need to clean between applications if you're just reusing the same putty. Even if you're changing putties, it's not that important to get it perfectly clean. It's more of how clean do you want to make it? It's like, how clean is it underneath your bed, you know, or your couch? Out of sight, out of mind. Every once in a while you want to clean behind the couch and make sure there's like no missing bits in there, but like, how clean is it actually underneath your couch? It's ours. We've got kids, so even if we do clean, it doesn't take long for the kids to make a really big mess. And yeah, we'll be like sweeping and all of a sudden we'll find like earbuds that have been missing for a couple weeks, which my wife is always losing her earbuds. And then I'm usually the one that finds them. Every once in a while she finds them before I do. We're pretty close to clean here. Just gotta clean this up a bit more. Man, it's crazy how soft the TGPP10 got again, just from needing it for a while. Like when I took everything off the card and sent it to a repair shop for that connector to get soldered on a new one. I took all the putty off, including the back side, and then when I got it back, I just spent a couple minutes kneading it for a while in my hands, and it got softer. Oh, right. Thanks for the reminder, even though you guys didn't say anything. I'll enable the Discord chat bubble. I should have done that earlier. It'll take a couple minutes to load, I think, and then it'll just pop up and it'll work. We'll probably see I don't know. It's like, I think it's a 20-minute timer. The messages last on the screen, so we probably won't see any messages, but it'll have like a green little Snarks domain or like Discord chat thingy on the top. I forgot to enable that last time. Right now I can't do Discord streams at all because I don't have enough boosters for Nitro, so might be able to do that before by Christmas, re-enable that. A couple other things I gotta buy first though, so. Guess I could also stream on Kick and Twitch simultaneously and have people's chat messages all go to one unified chat. That I could do. I'll look into that. I know it can be done, I just haven't done it before. But hey, Curry, it's good to see you. I know you missed the last one, but here you are. So yeah, the HY2610 that we just took off, well, it was kind of messy. And we're going to go over the numbers here in a little bit after we get this application done. We're just going to put this metal tweezers away. We don't really need that for anything anymore. And we will apply paste out of the big one, the big syringe. For a while I was just transferring it into a smaller syringe, but then I realized, what's the point? I'll just use the bigger one and not have to refill it. Works out good. Oh, it would have been perfect. There we go. That works. Clean that up later. We'll put a little dab in the middle. Worse than Putty Basic. I don't know, actually. We're going to find out. I won't make this take too long here. So I know a few of you are probably continental US and you're not looking to stay up real late, so let's get... I've already got the syringe pre-cut. We're going to use one of the Thermal Grizzly shovels. That's what we're going to do today. Just gotta make sure I dry it. We don't want the isopropyl to affect the putty before I test it. That would not be good. So, yeah, get the tube out of there. Like I said, this one, if they just changed the consistency a little bit, it would almost be hand formable. It's just a little too soft and a little too tacky. It wouldn't take too much of an adjustment if they wanted to. Okay. Take a bit of an adjustment, but nothing crazy. Get one more scoop just for good measure. I use about 15 grams sometimes. Excuse me. I'd say like 10 to 15 grams on these 8 VRAM. Unless my calculator sheet says otherwise. It's because I make the tubes, or the logs, a little bit longer. Yeah, on purpose. That way, as it squishes out, it's not going to... if you chop the log right at the edge of the VRAM, and then you assemble it, right? Well, that log, that part of it, the very end, is not just going to squish out this way. It's also going to squish this way. So I like making it a little bit longer. And that kind of acts as like a roadblock, and it makes the stuff on the VRAM spread out that way. And the little overhang is going to do that a little bit too, and also spread that way. So, TL Spitz, have you seen that newer putty on AliExpress? That's some brand called Ice Whale. Yeah, it's on the list. I've got to get some of that to buy, and I got to buy some to test. And I definitely will do that. I just don't have any yet. I think that's been on the list for a little while, so yeah, I'll have to get to that for sure. Some putties, if it's like super new and out of nowhere, and I don't recognize the brand, if I get like sketched out, I get a friend to buy it instead. I don't know why. Well, I know why. Because I think like the CSGR, I don't know. I think they really don't like me. And yeah, I think it's better for me to be more careful than not. Also need to get my package forwarding thing set up again. Okay, we are going to apply some putty here. Just planning on which hand I want to do this. Yeah, it's still very pasty. Marvelous. That 208 is pretty sticky, too liquidy for my... Yeah, Halnziye throw a sample of that for me to try. End up not liking it much for the consistency. Yeah, okay, so you've tried it. Yeah, it's too sticky. Also, it doesn't perform very well. TL Spitz, what is the diameter of the hole the putty dispenses from? The ID of the syringe nozzle, I've cut it back so that it's 6 millimeters, and that's the ideal log size for this VRAM for this thermal, for the gap, which is 1.8 millimeters thick. Last Hope, apologies, I don't understand how to read the Google Doc. Price not a factor. What is your preferred putty for GPUs since Gigabyte refuses to tell me anything? If it's a 5090 and if you spent like $3,000 or $4,000 on the card, I'd be torn. I'd want to put like the best putty in there possible, maybe, or if there's only a small difference, like a much cheaper but still very good putty. Last Hope, if you want the best, then currently that goes to Honeywell HT10000. You can buy it for the best price from currently that I know of from Eugenie KH. He's a Ukrainian YouTuber and thermal interface material reseller. It's not cheap stuff. It's like $1 per gram. For a 5090, you're going to want to have like 70-ish, maybe 80 grams on hand. But if you want to save some money, you could totally just buy 100 grams of, Jarapad Extreme, which is basically Upsiren U2P8, just rebranded. Or if you really wanted to go cheap, you could use CX H1300. I wouldn't, because that stuff is quite stiff and hard to work with. I find it hard to work with. I don't think you want CX as your first experience with thermal putty. I mean, that's my that's my opinion. There might be some that would disagree that like the consistency, but I just find it a little too stiff. Excuse me. So we go HY2610. Another syringe for the collection. We're gonna just tap that down a little bit there. I don't like using a syringe for putty unless it's sticky like this. I like rolling putties by hand. This looks messy to me. Like I would kind of messy. It's not even that bad, but it's a little bit messy. And I would much rather roll like nice tidy logs by hand, chop them to length, like make it look good. Also, I like when a putty is hand formable because then it's less chance of being as much of a mess to clean up later. So in that regard, CX H1300 is pretty good because it's probably one of the easiest to clean up right now of all the putties, just because it's the firmest and hardest to shape. Just gonna squeeze the TGPP10. That's the white putty we've been using on this card, the VRAMs or the VRMs, sorry, MOSFETs, for a couple of years now. The same stuff, just reshaping it every once in a while. Sometimes I'll take it off and work it in my hands to soften it up if need be. All right, that is the putty application. I think the video doesn't look too bad quality-wise. Oh, that Discord chat bubble still... Oh, do you know why? Because I'm not running Discord right now. Hold on a second here. I think I got it figured out. I just have to... Give me one moment. I'm going to go to the audio settings and... put my output volume to 0. And then minimize that. And then I think the chat bubble should come up in a second here. Yeah, I think it only works if I have Discord open, which I finally just did, so it might load here shortly. We'll see. So yeah, the putty is sticky enough that it's not gonna fall off the card when you hold it upside down. And just before we assemble this, going to make sure there's nothing on the cold plate. There we go. The chat bubble still isn't working. I'll have to sort that out later. Oh yeah, I don't know if you know this, TL Spitz, but Upsiren's going to change their branding. They're going to now be called Jarapad, specifically just for the thermal putties though, not the rest of their products. So yeah, it's not going to be Upsiren UTP-8 anymore. Now it's going to be Jarapad Extreme. Just in case you guys were wondering what was going on there. Yeah, so I always get those 4 corners started just to align the card. Don't put them in all the way. And then I get these spring screw ones started. Yeah, I don't think that Discord chat bubble is coming up. I'll have to look into that. Okay, and then I just do the star pattern. Curry, I can see you messaging in it, but it'll work again. I just have to troubleshoot it, is all. I was just playing around with like a whole bunch of settings today in OBS and NVIDIA Broadcast and Synapse and Motive Mix. Too much software. I'm looking forward to simplifying my the software I use. But I think it's going to be more simple. I say that now. My goal is to get a Rodecaster Duo or a Rodecaster Pro V2, which is surprisingly not that much more than the Duo. And yeah, use that for my audio. But it also has buttons I can set macros to. So I won't need to use the mouse as much. I'll be able to like hit a single like big red button to like go to mute. I'd be able to hit a button to switch it to an AFK scene in OBS. Do all sorts of stuff. Maybe even like zoom levels. That'd be cool. Then I could get rid of Synapse completely. Well, maybe. Could try. Oh, hey, it works. Testing. What did Mitch say? Mitch just said nothing. Don't do me like that, Mitch. Man, that's cool that that's working. It just takes a while to load. Next time I'll start OBS. I'll get that enabled long before I start the stream. Okay, so we've got the card back together. We're going to quickly wipe the PCI Express connector. I'm not going to get this up and running live today, but I'm going to crunch the numbers for 268. I think that's more important than showing a sneak peek of this one. So yeah, we got that little bit of putty that fell out before, so that's good. Yeah, I think that's going to play nice over there. And let me just... I think I made the text bigger than it used to be, but that's okay. I can get that dialed in. We're just not going to do it now because it's working right now, so I'm not gonna play with it. I think that's the lesson of this week for me, is that if it's not broken, don't try fiddling with it and fixing it and making it better. Like, don't always update software just because a new software comes out. Yeah, that's kind of, you can get burned sometimes. So we're going to clean all those after the stream. Get rid of this one. This guy, we're going to put there. Spray some isopropyl alcohol on the desk and get it nice and cleaned up. Excuse me. I'm going to catch up with the chat here. Snark, so I have a difficult time judging how big to make my putty logs and usually end up using more than necessary. Facts. Yeah, that's all of us, bud. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to make consistent size logs for VRAM. You can do a test fit if you want. That's a pretty fast way, and what a lot of people do. Roll a log. It doesn't have to be the full length. Just like put it on like 1 or 2 VRAM, you know, on opposite sides or something, and then assemble the card with the screws, take it back apart and see how it's squished out, and then add or remove as needed. You can also use the thermal putty calculator if you have the factory pads, or a pretty good guide on what the pads were, the initial gap sizes. Or you can, using calipers, you can measure the gap between the PCB and the cold plate, and then measure the heights of the components, and then crunch the numbers that way. So, Marvelous says, I think you might like the 2310, the pink or the blue in terms of consistency. Feels like in between 256 and 68. Interesting. So it only has those two to compare with. I can see the particle much larger. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I need to get the pink or the blue version, whichever, of the 10 watt stuff. Also the 8 watt stuff. They make different colors as well. TL Spitz, what's the story behind the Upsiren name change? If I recall, they tired of battling the Upsiren brand name with CSGR. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Yeah, so going forward, this is good. You know, I wish it had happened a long time ago. You know, you can't win every battle, at least not without putting like significant time and probably like financial resources and energy into it. And I think like Upsiren China just cared a lot less than CSGR does about it. In general, so they just weren't putting as much energy into, like, I don't even know if they tried to do like legal stuff at all or not. I know they filed the trademarks in like other countries, but they couldn't get into Europe because that was already tied down. And they tried. You could see in the records of the European Trademark Registry that Upsiren China did try to like add one after the fact, but then it just got contested. So, and then whether they put the energy into like follow that up and go through the process, and you know, it'd be a lot of communicating back and forth and stuff you'd have to do to get that all like figured out. But all right, let's go to the second screen. It worked. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna just make excuse me, coughing a little bit less, but I still have like, I don't know, what am I doing here? Rename. So we're gonna crunch the data. I'm just gonna try and do it as fast as possible here for you guys, because I know it's getting kind of late. we're still going to try to do it as accurately as possible. I at least took the moment beforehand to make the background gray and the text yellow, so it's not like super bright on your eyes if you guys are trying to go to bed, you know. You imagine that you're like lying in bed watching a stream. I don't know if you are, but if you were, and your wife's wife or girlfriend's beside you, and they're like, turn that light off. My wife's the worst for screen brightness. Like, she has that thing cranked all the time. I can't stand it. All right, we are going to put this in etc hash right there. And we're going to put it in firmark. But yeah, I think it's going to be good that JarPad is now the new brand name for the thermal putties, specifically. That's going to make it more accessible and really just kind of like brings it to a nice tidy end, I think, of the whole debacle. You know, it'd be nice to like put in the good fight and have both sides back down and reassess and do the logical thing, but when that doesn't happen, then yeah, sometimes you just gotta like pick your battles. Is it worth the time and expense and energy? Probably not. Depends how tenacious, you know, the other party is. And also format. What am I doing? I'm trying to go Control F. Sorry. Okay, select. Okay, let's undo whatever that was. Control F. I got distracted talking. But yeah, it'll be nice for accessibility going forward. That should work. Thinking about it. Surprised that keyboard hasn't disintegrated out of the existence the moment you place it down. Yeah. Oh, this one? I love this keyboard. This is great. It's got like a nice little volume control for me. Works good. I have no complaints about this. So this was etc hash. We'll do this one next. Close that. Control F. Replace all. And Curry's like, no, make it bright. turn everyone's screen into a miniature sun. Trying to read. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. What can I do? I can move this down here for now. Let's do that. You can look at the lines here, right? And then you can see the numbers. Sorry about that. That's, yeah. I'll have to sort the chat out one way or the other. I'll figure out a way to make it all fit. Could probably just make some space, a blacked out space here. Make these smaller. Fit the chart a little bit tighter. Maybe, or just look at the first couple hours. Yeah, I'll figure something out. I don't think we did this one yet, so we're gonna go Control F. Because I don't think we ran it for 24 hours. I think we ran it for 7 or 10 or something like that. Let's find out. It'll tell us right away. Oh, 12 hours. So probably just over 11 and a half, 12 hours kind of thing. See that dip there? We would never use data from hour number 3 or hour number 5, but number 2 is looking clean. All right. So this is Kapow. So we go over here and we go down. Where down are we going here? Right to the bottom. And we go firmark. Hour number 2 is pretty stable, 53. Let's see what the average is here. Average 53.56. You know, it'd be closest to this one, but we're going to get improved accuracy on these tests when we go to test bench 3, which I keep always saying, and haven't started the testing, the full-fledged testing. I've done like pre-testing. I need to get on that thing to find the time, and or maybe I just need to make the time. That's probably what it is. So we had hour 2 and 3 average 59.7. Yeah. T delta. Here we go. ETC hash. Just a putty. We got it directly from Halnziye. Each. $268. We got September 16th. 25. All right, let's see how this does on the ETC hash putty chart. Or sorry, the full chart. I gotta do that first. Actually, I can do it at the same time. We'll go Furmark. Yeah, like it's 66. Let's figure out just putty first, because that's, yeah, the one that we care the most about. 59.8. So this one's 59.821. And this one's 59.845. So it's just slightly worse. It's not that accurate, but we're gonna let the numbers tell us where to put it. Okay. So it's actually, it's on par with UTP4 ultra thin. Like, actually UTP4 is worse by 0.6 of a degree. For my testing anyways. And I'll have to fill that data in. Let's go to Furmark. 53.9. Right there. You know, I don't really pay much attention to the Furmark tests. I don't rely on them to be super accurate of a putty's performance, and just because we're putting more watts into the core, so we're taking like another, it's just, yeah, like more variables, I guess. But it's useful to see if like there's a hotspot issue. You know, on some of these you can see, let's see, core hotspot. Look at this one. Thermal take Valor Odin, right? The hotspot was 61 when normally it's just under 50. So 10 degrees increased hotspot. It's a tough pad. So it's useful for that. That's something that the ETC hash test doesn't show as much. you get like maybe 5 degrees, but you don't get like a big 10-degree bump. So, and then Kapow, same thing, because it's also core intensive. I rely on the ETC hash to be my most accurate of these charts. But 66.1, and I'll catch up with chat in a moment here. You know, there would have been a time where after TGPP10 went away, if I saw this putty and it was like the first putty I'd tested back then, I'd be like, wow, this stuff's awesome. It's better than TGPP10. But now we just have so many better options. Like you can get HT 10,000, UTP 8, well, Jarpad Extreme, which I'll rename that a bit. You know, layered thermal grizzly putty blow. Can't get EVGA. You can still get Pentrum. Even for Honda LTP 65, which is, you know, this is worth looking at. This is slightly cheaper last time I checked than the 81. You know, if this is good enough price, that would certainly still be better than CX. CX is a good budget option. I just don't like how stiff it is. Let's go. Anyways, I'll update these charts, but basically what it's looking like is it's worse than TG Putty Basic. It's also worse than HY236, HY256 up here by like how many degrees here we're talking about? We're basically at, it's 5 degrees. It's 5 degrees worse than HY236. And HY236 you can get the thick or the thin version. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's fine. I just don't understand why. Maybe the pink and blue stuff's going to be different for this one. So the gray ones, I didn't realize this before. And then I read a message on actually Igor's Labs forums in the community posts there. And I can't remember if it was CJ or someone else was mentioning that the gray version, like the 6 version, actually is a different makeup. I think it uses probably, I want to say zinc oxide, which would add to the color. And I think the other ones are not using as much zinc oxide. They're probably using aluminum nitride. So, which would allow you to add coloring. You know, you can't add color to an already gray putty. You'd have to start with like a whiter putty and then add like a blue or a pink, whether you'd be doing like a powder for pigment or a liquid, probably more likely a powder for adding pigmentation. Then, so those ones might actually be higher performing. So this kind of sucks, but I have to test these again. I got to buy 2 more jugs directly from Halnziye of the other stuff, and then we'll retest again, and I'll add those to the charts. But yeah, let's get back to the overview so we can what do I gotta do? Disable second screen. Excuse me. And we're gonna move this guy. Oh, I don't want to move that. Bubble. Oh, you know what? Let's go to the, how could I do that? Maybe I'll just put I'll turn a couple lights off. We'll set the mood. And we'll just catch up on the chat here, and then I'll take off. But by the way, some sources I found say Lenovo uses JE7100. What's 7100 is? Did you mean 8100 there, Curry, or? Yeah, crunch. The number looks rough. COVID cough. Yeah, race to the bottom. What do we got here? CSGR, blah, 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 blah. TG is not far from me. And for GPU and CPU, I use their Durnot. Yeah, I hear really good things about their Durnot paste. Wolfcopter. I've also got some. It definitely does squeeze extremely thin, and that's one thing that might have been just like a minor bone of contention, not a big thing between Der Bauer and Igor. Was when Igor tested it, I think he only tested it down to 25 micrometers, UMs, and Der Bauer was like, well, this stuff, because of the particle size they're using, it actually squishes much thinner, so you can get it, the thinnest layer possible. Then you're relying on having super flat surfaces, but like on the enthusiast side, that's what we want. There are guys lapping, CPU dies, the IHSs, their AIO or like water blocks, making them basically perfectly flat. So we want the thinnest possible paste for if you want a paste, which is certainly an option. Like I like using PTM still, even on an IHS, but it does take a dedicated burn-in. So the only product that I might buy would be TG, would be their liquid metal. Yeah, they probably have one of the better liquid metals. Maybe it's all the same, but I think they actually make that stuff in-house, so they could probably be like boosting it with aluminum if they want. I think aluminum nitride. Found a new putty, Ice Whale U7. Yeah, I've got to get that at some point. Tins, Intel or AMD? I mean, I'm going to say both. I've owned both, but I mostly run AMD CPUs currently. But I kind of want to get, a 14900K or maybe like a 14900KS and just take it to the limit, Once I don't know, I think it'd be fun. Maybe for my gaming rig, I would use that. We'll see. Because I'll be doing 2K, 360 hertz. So I'll have to read up on it, but I'm pretty sure when you go to higher res, the X3D chips are not really giving you like a massive boost when you go to high res stuff. And I don't play in 1080p anymore, or do I plan to? So TL Spitz, I wasn't a big fan of Thermal Grizzly for a long time, but I will say their new Duranaut paste performs extremely well. Yeah, plus they've got like some putty on the market, so it's pretty cool. Snark following valve steps. You can never I can never make Test Bench 3 real. Yeah, because it'd be like Half-Life 3, right? I got the joke, man. That was good. Thanks for making me laugh. Lovely. Duranaut's not available where you are. That sucks. Snark. Yeah, I need to test TC55888. I'm going to get some from you, Jenny. Yeah, 12900KS to the limit. Because there wasn't a massive performance boost between the 12, 13, and 14th gen. Like, there was like a little bit, but when you overclock all of them to the max, I think the 1400 is going to be better. I think. I'll have to double check on that. I was watching a bunch of Frame Chasers stuff regarding the 14900s, especially right around the time when they found out for a while that the Intel chips were burning up a little bit, and then so were the AMD for different reasons. They've both had taken blows in the last year. Curry says PTM 7950, we can just use it once and never repaste again, so if you don't plan to play with its internals often. Yeah, honestly, if you're ever going to putty a video card, like, I don't think you should use paste at all. Like, if you're already using a thermal putty and you're expecting it to last years, why bother putting a paste in that you're thinking you might have to swap, 6 months or 1 year or 2 years later? Because then you got to like touch up the putty again. You don't have to like replace it as long as it's soft enough, but why not just put something in that matches the longevity so that you have the best chance of not having to do GPU maintenance, unless you like decide to upgrade it to like, a better product. That makes sense. But like just opening it up to replace it with the same stuff, I don't think we have to do that anymore. Like that's the whole point of switching to PTM. Yeah, it's got pretty good performance. That's great. We're lucky that PTM performs so well, but the reason why we're switching to PTM is because it has better longevity, less chance of pump out. The thing is, PTM is perfectly matched with putty. If you try and use PTM and then you start using, and you have thermal pads that are on the thicker side, maybe you didn't measure correctly, or maybe you bought a pad that was too stiff. If it's holding up the heatsink, the cooler, and preventing it from squishing that PTM, then you are going to get channeling and basically a weird melty, flowy pump out. Something's going to happen. And I've seen a couple screenshots where it looked like these little river-like channels. And I was like, oh, were you using putty or pads? Oh, pads. I put in these aftermarket pads. So it never got the pressure to get really thin, that nice, thin, even layer. It just kind of stayed with a gap, right? And the PTM never like squished really thin. And it just sort of like melted and flowed out. So some of it, 4 microcode updates now. Yeah. If you tune your CPU, then you don't have to worry about degradation as long as you keep your like voltages in check. And I think your like ring voltage and stuff. The problem that with Intels is if people were just running them stock and not tuning them and not updating the BIOS, that's when you're running into danger. But if you're like actively like overclocking, tuning, undervolting, fiddling with it and like getting it dialed in, finding the limit and then dialing it back a little bit for that stability, you're already going to be running like less phi core than, try and keep it away from that 1.5, I think, generally. If you can. I think if you were down around that 1.3 or less, like you're doing pretty good. I'd have to check on the ring. I have to read up on it again. I'm not the guy to be talking about this. But yeah, listen guys, it's been fun chatting with you. I'm gonna get this card on the test bench and get it up and running. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I work tomorrow or not. I don't see any emails right now, so hopefully, well, I need to go to work, but if I'm not working tomorrow, I could probably do another stream then. So thanks for tuning in. I had a blast chatting with you guys, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Snarks Domain out.